Alright, in the bottom left corner, in yellow with Koji, we have Loveless. Versus the top right, in blue with Elodie, we have Saikoya. Now, this is very interesting because Elodie isn't generally regarded as a particularly strong commander right now. So I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to make this work. Elodie has only been picked once this tournament and unfortunately lost in the round that took place. And interestingly, being very aggressive there as opposed to going for the capture on the village. Going to push forward. Anyway, there has been some slight changes to this map for this round. Some people pointed out that this barracks starting on full health when the opponent has to capture theirs and that being on low health was a bit unfair. Shouldn't really actually matter that much, but we made the change because we wanted the map to actually mirror, and the barge wasn't in the quite correct place for 90% of the way people play this map. So that got changed as well, and I think the commander on player 2 starts with Groove, which basically evens out how the map plays if they play symmetrically. So just a couple of small fixes, nothing too huge, it shouldn't really affect the game too much. It just means that players can do mirrored actions because one player starts with the advantage on commander, in this case player 2, and player 1 starts with the advantage of barracks. These units come out first, which is why this capture happens faster in the center, for example. So as we go into this, both players are going incredibly spear heavy. Got 4 spears out from Loveless already, and 3 from Saikoya. But neither player really wanting to allow the other person to get knights as an option. They just want to play a very slower pace, grindier style. But it is worth noting, spears are more expensive now, so other options can come out like archers and dogs and annihilate the spears. Oh, and we see a trebuchet coming out from Loveless, so that we're going back to some 1.3 meta right now. And how will Saikoya respond? So it takes out this water village over here. And really pushing around the edge of the map, as opposed to Koji, who's going right through the center. And now we see the divergence in playstyle. Saikoya going for a balloon and a knight versus the trebuchet of Loveless. Actually, if someone could post the live stream link on Discord, that would be much appreciated. Actually, I'm going to do it really quickly. Media channel. There we go. Thank you, Isaac. Alright, let's have a look. So, Loveless, really pushing up aggressively here. This HQ is fairly undefended though. Moves this sword to go for the village capture in the corner, using the barge. And this is actually really clever because there's always an escape route. You could only cover the escape path from this tile here. I mean, you could move the spears up. But he can move up to this mountain if he really wants to. Very aggressive positioning from that mage. I'm not really sure how I feel about that because this spear can hit it for free on one side. The Saikoya is looking to get like some kind of surround here, but the commander can just run away to this mountain and there isn't a huge amount that can be done because this mage is going to be here to support any moment now. And yeah, like Koji is quite deep at the moment, but this spear could run up and knock out the village and Koji can flee around to the other side and then like he's got a bunch of infantry to support. You know, the knight moves up to cover. Crab slowly pushes forward as well. But I think Loveless is actually quite okay here. That trap is looking real dangerous now. So yeah, like spear takes out the village. Koji can run back, kill the villager. He had a few options. He could have moved to the mountain to capture. Gives him another escape route technically, but yeah, as long as this mage survives on full health, stays out of distance for everything, like it can kill the balloon, which is a big threat. Damages the mage, which is huge. It's a lot of damage. And there isn't really anything to punish this spear. So it's in a pretty good spot. It's a harpy, which is good. So there's a knight out. You don't want to have that option available to crit the HQ, so harpy can just move up. Defensive, takes the corner village. We're going to see on the other side of the map too, next turn. I'm not entirely sure about this move because the spears can move up and crit. Potentially kill the mage. Which does open up getting a balloon surround. Ooh, dragon as well, that's scary. Like doing his buys early, he skipped a Rax build to get the dragon out. I think he actually just really wants to kill Koji. And it's gonna come down to whether or not he actually has this surround. Oh. Puts the commander on the road. Isn't being too aggressive. And decides not to go for the mage. He's just gonna play this very defensively. Personally, I would have gone aggro, but might not be the best idea in this situation. Ooh, Koji's got groove now. It's quite scary. Elodie is not close to having groove yet. 3 swords. Good pick off there. And now we have this trebuchet moving in. Very strong win condition moving up the map. That said, archer is out and knight is out, as is dog, dragon. So if there is a wall in front of this, you can potentially break it, get a knight crit. Ooh, and that sword being left there cost the sword its life. So there's been a couple of free unit pickoffs this turn, which is pretty scary. They're just swords so far, but those kinds of things add up. Like if we go to the overview, Loveless is going to end on a 3-unit badge so far. Builds the witch and a spear, so whatever comes out here. Mage, pretty good. So he has a 5-unit lead at the end of his turn. Just moves the mage back to safety. Isn't covered by the trap crit, but you know, a regular trap hit is still going to be pretty dangerous to anything that comes close. Okay, now Saikoya is going to go aggressive. Moves in with the spears, does some damage. that's gonna die to a trip fairly soon. Free hit on the village. Not gonna have Groove this turn. It's gonna take an extra turn on top of this for that to build up. But he is moving his units into position. It's another archer. Very good choice. Archers are very good at dealing with trebuchet wall, like walls in front of trebuchets anyway. So you line up the knight to get a crit on the treb by killing everything in front of them. He needs to put his knight in the correct position this turn, which is probably going to be, I mean, this is actually really useful here to stop crit. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so the knight's in the correct position this turn. Now Loveless has to think, how am I going to do this? Trebuchet kills one spear for free. Just gonna finish off these spears, which is a good decision. He could actually kill the knight for free. Move the spear up, the spear goes for the crit. Koji could drop bombs and hit the dragon and Elodie at the same time. Or just use them to wall. And that's the other thing about these archers as well, they're going to be good at sniping Koji bombs. And there's no witch out for the blue player, so
let's hope this works.
Cannot one-shot bombs yet. It's a pretty huge deal. And also this witch is going to be able to protect these bombs, so that is also a really nice aspect of Loveless's position. And yeah, he just gets some free damage. Ooh, sword comes in. Spears come in and kill the knight. That's a good bomb position as well, because it can only be hit by one side right now. Archer could run in and shoot it though. And then mage runs in to finish it off if it wants. There's quite a few options here. I think the main thing though is that Loveless is getting a huge unit lead. Ends the turn on 10 unit advantage. And of course I think these are actually included in that, but that's still pretty big. Goes for the kill on the mage instead. Good choice. That mage was keeping the dragon back quite a lot. Uses the dragon to get a free kill. Elodie follows up, does her thing. No units in range of the treb, and this is really useful now because nothing can go near Elodie. You can't move the treb up while she's in range because you could potentially steal the treb, which would be a very fun way to win a game. Just taking a little bit longer to decide on how he wants to end this turn. What's this one's groove? So, Elodie's groove steals a unit and it can be used immediately. So you can just run up and essentially charm it. So this drag, for example, she could run up. Right now she can only steal this spear that's injured. Potentially, if she gets attacked by, like if a witch gets too close to her, or a knight gets too close to her. Oh, just attacks the commander, interesting. That's putting it in treb range though. I would have thought the village capture would have made more sense. The big issue with Elodie though is that the groove is really strong, but it's not, it has a slow charge time. So it takes quite a long time to get up. And it's very situational, and it's quite easy to play around because essentially you just throw weak units at her. Loveless starting this turn, he has a lot of money. He ended... The Saikoya ended the turn with income disadvantage. Which is always, like, bad. Like, you always kind of want to end your turn on either equal income or having the advantage. Because you generally want to, like, make your opponent feel like they're losing at the start of their turn. Doesn't happen in this case. Ooh. I think Elodie's actually just dead. This bomb's gonna blow up, and yeah. I think that's game. Sadly, leaving her in a place that was a bit too vulnerable. The mage capture there would have made more sense. And Loveless, just realizing I have lethal potential ahead, and now it's over. Your game to Loveless.